Welcome back to the Impact Effect podcast. As you know, every single episode, I am fired up. But today is extremely special because we've got Justyn Melendez in the house, and he is a financial architect. And we're going to dive into exactly what that means. We're going to talk a little bit about finance, money, business, lifestyle. We're going to jump into all of it today. So please help me welcome Justyn to the Impact Effect podcast.
Oh, Jim, I appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure. You just mentioned, I've been thinking about it all day, so I'm looking forward to diving into this.
Let's go, man. Let's go. So in Impact Effect podcast, true fashion, I ask every single guest, how do you define impact? And how do you show up in the world and provide positive impact today?
Okay. A lot of questions in that one. Okay. So impact to me, is positive change. I just feel like from my upbringing, how I grew up, seeing the things that I've seen, I was like, man, I need to share this with other people. And when I saw the change start happening and it was affecting their life in a positive way, I was like, okay, that's true impact. That's a positive impact in someone's life. So, man, I see you have the influence, the action, and then the actual change. So for impact itself, it has to be the change. It has to be the end part.
Of course, man. Yeah. The impact, baby, the influence,
yes.
The change. Let's go.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about how you create positive impact today in your daily life, in your business. How do you look through that lens and conquer that positive impact?
Yes. So I just start off, my journey started 5 years ago. 2020, the world shut down, and it gave me the time to really settle down and think about my next move. And my next move was I needed to learn how money actually worked. I was making good money in the insurance game, did that for 10 plus years, but it was so transactional. And when the world stopped, so did my money. And I was like, okay, well, if the money's not coming in, how can I go make my money make money? So I dove into a lot of books, influential people. We both know who he is. Grant Cardone really set me on that path. Got to know his team, learned a lot from them. And the things that I learned, I was like, why are we not sharing this with other people? I watched my grandmother work for 32 years, have a pension, have a 401k, and she's still living paycheck to paycheck. So this traditional way that is advertised is just not it anymore. We're in a modern society. It's more complex, and the traditional way of saving and getting ready for retirement just doesn't work. And so I just decided to learn all the things that they knew in their minds, and I told them I'm going to share it with as many people as I possibly can. So I feel like what I've learned, I have an obligation to share it with others, especially as me coming from a poverty kind of childhood. I know there's several other people that have come that way, and there's just ways to get out of it a lot quicker than what is advertised.
Ooh, let's go, man. It's interesting to converse and to navigate relationships with people. And when you start to bring up money, when you start to bring up what's your strategy or what's your vision or your future goals, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. How do you get what you know, your knowledge, into a position where people want to receive it, they're open to it, they want to talk about money?
Yeah.
That must be a challenge. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it absolutely is a challenge because people will shut down the moment that money is talked about. They will. And that typically tells me that they have a problem. But I feel like when I relax their mind a little bit by telling them I've been where you were right now, or I know someone that's been in your position and this is how we got out of it, it does give them a different, outlook on what the future could be. So that's why I always start with a financial mindset. When we can shift that, that's going to open their mind to all the possibilities that are actually out there. Right now, that's a limited belief. That's what they're focused on. I'm not good enough to have money. Money causes problems. Or the root of all evil is money. Things like that where they just fixate on, and that's not the truth. I feel like those things were put in position on purpose to keep us suppressed, to keep us away from wanting to strive for more and learn about money. I would say that to ease their mind a little bit is to find that relatability, to show them that I've been in their shoes. I know someone that's been in their shoes if it wasn't me personally, and that there's always a way out of it if you can stay focused, disciplined, and consistent.
Ooh, focused, disciplined, and consistent.
Yes.
How do you change someone's mindset around that and focused on money?
Yeah. So that seems to be or was the biggest challenge. And I think I've gotten really good at doing that. You have to find out what the end goal is, right? It can't just be, I want to make a lot of money. Anyone that's motivated about money, they're going to fail eventually. It's going to happen. So there has to be a stronger purpose. So what I tell my people and my clients is it's not about how much money we make, but what we do with the money once we make it. And if we can put that to something, that dollar bill, give it a purpose, there's got to be something. And it kind of correlates to what I call my BPV approach, where I talked about depression in the military and suicidal situations. It means belief, purpose, and value. But we got to do the same thing with the money, right? We have to believe first that we are good enough to receive this. Then when we receive it, we got to give it that purpose. And when we give it purpose, it will create its own value. And if I can take them down that road, find out what the end game is, and we work backwards, what I call backwards planning, that usually shifts their mind. Okay, there's a way to get there. It's not just about me. I have a stronger purpose. Got to find out what they believe in. If they could change one thing in their community to make it better, what would it be? Well, you're probably going to need a little bit of money to do that. So let's make some money and change the community. It's that simple. So
Money being the tool
yes,
to utilize as part of you navigating that purpose to create value inside you, but also value for your community.
correct.
I think when you lay it out like that, that's not what gets taught in school.
No.
That's not what gets taught in the average home around the dinner table.
Correct.
And it's interesting. And I know you've got kids. Everybody's tired. You came home from work. You sit down. How was your day? How can we change that average neutral question of how was your day to start talking about your purpose, your value, and then have an open conversation about just money in general?
Yeah.
You know?
And I love that. You know, it used to be a thing I would do with my girls before they would go into school, right? They're getting out of the car, I'm dropping them off. I would ask them, what are we going to do today? And they would repeat to me, make a difference. And that right there, that's just a simple question. Like, did you make a difference at the end of the day? Doesn't have to be 100, 1,000 people, one life. If you can make a difference in one life, that's all it takes. So yeah, like it's that. If you can just change that one little piece, how did you make a difference today? That's a good conversation opener.
When did you figure out your purpose?
Man, I think I figured out my purpose like 1,000 times. Until my true purpose, what I'm doing right now, was when I was in this room. So just kind of going back where my journey started, I got the lowest ticket at the Grant Cardone 10X Growth Con, okay? And I sat down at a table next to this guy. You can tell he's made of money. And we hit it off. And he's like, hey, there's a VIP party tonight. I would like to bring you in. Obviously, I can't get in. I have the lowest ticket. But he's like, I can get you in. So I'm like, cool. I get in there. There's about 80 to 100 people. And I can just tell they know I'm not supposed to be there. I could just feel the eyes. Like, who's this kid? Pretty much. And I had this gut feeling, Justyn, take advantage of this. Ask as many questions as you possibly can. And I did. And the things that I've learned, like I mentioned before, was just so eye-opening to me that it was like this light bulb. Boom, Justyn, you're going to be the voice to tell people what's really going on, to tell them that there is a much better way to do this. And that, I don't know, man, it just called to me. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I caught so much backlash from financial advisors, from other insurance agents. It was like, listen, you can't be talking about this. This is not, like, you're going to get in trouble either with the SEC, and God willing, I have not, because I speak the truth. And I will show you how to reference it, how to find it yourself. So there's no way they can touch me on that. But I was just sharing secrets that took money from them. So they come at me, and it's okay. It took about a year for me to overcome it, and I did. And now those same individuals will come to me for help. So that's God's plan.
Wow. The event, the purpose came to you at an event.
At an event, it did.
I feel that, brother. I feel that with my purpose, man.
Oh, I know.
I know exactly where it happened, and it was at an event.
Yes.
The interesting part is the unique situation that occurred to put you in your purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Like, And it also took another human. It took another person to invest
Yes.
energy, time, and in this case, ultimately a resource to get you in a room that you didn't pay to be in.
Right.
Right? And I just think that that's so important. I mean, obviously, you know, I talk about human connection. I've been studying it, relationships. I love that stuff. But it's always goes back to someone that isn't giving you the hand out, but they're giving you the hand up. Right? And I think back on my experience and finding my purpose and really, really understanding, okay, I need to help people with their relationships, right? Because I think it's either people need help with health, wealth, or relationships.
Right.
So those to me are the big categories in life where, hey, that's what people need help with most. I want to pick one of those. I chose relationships, you chose wealth, right?
Right.
And we're both trying to work on our health.
Correct. Yeah, I love it.
With that scenario, you said you thought you found your purpose, you're working through it multiple times. Talk to the person listening to this today who may have not found their purpose yet, or may have thought it was one thing and things are moving or changing and they're still trying to navigate it. Like, do you have any advice for that person listening today to this episode?
Yeah, I believe I do. And it always goes back to what I call my BPV approach. And that is just belief, purpose, and value. But in this specific setup, we're looking at the value part. Everyone, I feel like when you get into depression and you feel lost, it's a self-value issue. You lose that self-value within yourself. And you're looking for outside sources to give you that value when you need to find it within first. I think we always need to go back to belief. It always starts with believing in something. So you got to ask yourself, what do you believe in, right? What is that one thing that you believe in? You know, if you were to die today, how would you want to be remembered by the people that surround you?
Legacy, baby.
Right, legacy. So and it goes back to the other question, like what is that one thing that you would change? Right? If you had the power, if money wasn't an issue, and you could change it, what would it be? Right? And then when you start thinking about all of this, that creates a purpose for you. Right? Focus on the purpose. Eventually, that purpose will create value for you. My advice is always go back to what you believe in.
Yeah.
Because the world will sidetrack us into something else that we may think is the belief, and it's really not until we hit that brick wall. And then we have that reality check of, all right, I need to backtrack just a little bit. Go back to what I believe in, not what societal pressures is telling me to believe in.
Talk to me about the wall that you hit during your journey. Is there a specific instance or where you were just like, man, this ain't it, you know?
I was in Paducah, Kentucky. I was living in Paducah, Kentucky. And it's a great place. I'm not going to hate on it too much, but I have really good friends there. My family's originally from there, really outside of it. And there was just a day I woke up and I said, I don't feel like myself. This is not me. I don't know what it was. I had all of this knowledge, and the people that I was there with just weren't listening. And it was like, they're not open to it. And it's suppressing me because now I'm having to dial it down just to open up and be able to communicate. And I felt like I was suppressing myself, and it just got to a point where it was just too much. And I was like, I'm moving to Nashville. I'm moving to Nashville. That's what it kept telling me, like, you need to go to Nashville. Go to Nashville. It's not too far. It's a bigger city. The people that you need to be communicating with and educating are there. They'll listen. And I prayed on it heavily for like 6 months. And I was like, okay, I'm going.
How'd that feel to make that choice?
Scary. My goodness, it's scary. You know, I come from, let's say, a broken family, right? And I have 2 daughters that live with their mother in Paducah still. And, you know, that was the biggest part for me was like I had to leave them. But I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't be the best version of myself if I stayed. And they just killed me. It was like this tug of war. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Do I do it? What's my kids going to think about it? And at the beginning, I'm not going to lie, it was tough. It was. They didn't understand it. They're young. But they realized what I was doing as they gotten older. I've been here for 3+ years. And they're seeing what I've created here and what they're able to do with me here. Like, my girls love it now. They love it. And plus they get 2 Christmases and they get all the extra gifts and things because it's, the family split. But it was definitely scary at the beginning, not necessarily because I know my potential. I knew I was going to make it. That wasn't a problem. That's not what I questioned. It was my kids at the beginning. Like, would they understand this? Would they hate me for doing this? And that's where my hesitation come from. But again, I prayed and God told me, they'll be okay. Go. So I did.
Let's go, man. Let's go. I got full body goosebumps as you said that. Every time I do an episode, there's 1 or 2 parts where I get the goosebumps because there's that level of alignment, right? Like, we only want to have people on the show that really want to make or are making positive impact. So when I hear these stories of I took massive risk, or I'm just being vulnerable and I'm opening up, and I don't talk about this often, or I don't share it often, it puts me in that state of true alignment with my guest. And I totally feel that, man. I think what a difficult decision to make, but knowing and listening to that inner voice to make the right decision and do it correctly or navigate it and learn throughout it. It's just kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful you're here. I'm grateful you're sitting across from me. I'm grateful to call you a friend.
I don't make that jump. We don't meet. We don't do this today. I completely believe that everything happens for a reason.
Totally.
God's timing is never wrong.
A friend of mine, Janine Driver, was in town in Nashville last week, and she had given me this bracelet, and it's Romans 8:28. And it says, "We know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." And we were chatting about just life and the obstacles that come through and some of these decisions that you're like, you just have to have faith and you have to listen to the Creator. And it's so funny because, you have these one-on-one conversations and you get deep with folks, and we see the highlight reels online, or we see you close a big deal, or you do something really cool, and we forget that we're all making decisions that have an impact, and that impact, my belief is it's a positive impact or a negative impact. I don't think the neutral exists.
Right.
Like, someone's either agreeing or disagreeing.
Right.
You're either making the right decision or the wrong decision.
Correct.
So for you to navigate that and have a young family and take that risk, it's just absolutely amazing, man, because it was the right thing to do. And now you're sharing that on this podcast and other podcasts and on stages. You're sharing that to motivate and show others that it's possible.
Yes.
And it is hard, guys and gals. It is. Like, let's not sugarcoat this shit, right? Like, because we've all made the wrong decision.
Yes.
So to continue to get back up after a failure, to continue to take risks, to continue to elevate and want more, it gets harder and harder because there are those moments that you made the wrong decision. It's always in the back of your head, just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Oh, is this the right thing to do? So again, I just give you so many kudos to taking that level of risk. Talk to me about community. Talk to me about why it's so important for you to get this knowledge out, to get these secrets out, to push back on some of these other advisors or people who sell insurance or whatnot that don't want this information out.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, man.
Man, I'm trying to figure out how to navigate this. So and on my signature in my email, it says at the bottom, relationships are the currency of life. And some people may say time, some people will say money, but I believe that we're supposed to grow together. And when we can find the right people in our community or networking, just relationships in general, and we can find those individuals to grow together, you go so much faster. And it takes me back to my military time, right? You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go with your team, right? And it's the same thing in our world. But everyone has their own, personal, convictions or their agendas. So it's very hard for them to be like, oh, I'm going to grow with this person, even though, I may want to go this way and they're going that way. It's still possible. And I found that I was trying to connect with those individuals at the beginning, like because they're in that industry, right? They're financial advisors. That's what they talk about is money with their individuals. And when I was opening up to them and sharing, like, hey, have you thought about doing this? Have you thought about doing that? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We're not going to do that. And it dawned on me because of some of those strategies at the beginning does take away from their money because they make money based off of the size of a portfolio. And what I was trying to get to them was that, yes, it will come out temporarily. And when we grow it substantially here in a shorter time, guess where they're going to put it back? With you. And now the portfolio is bigger. Now you're earning more money off of it. But they just couldn't see that. They're very
short. I mean, the United States as a culture, I believe, and I just had a great conversation with Amanda Banks about this yesterday. And we were talking about like the United States culture societally is short-term thinking. Mm-hmm. Dopamine hits fast. I need it now. Money. I need to solve this problem and just get this done and put the Band-Aid on it. And then the next problem, I'll Band-Aid that. And it's like, how do we think long-term? And especially with relationships, how do we think long-term? Yeah. So money, relationships, ethics, like those shortcuts, those things we're doing that are against our ethical beliefs or behaviors or values, is that really going to pay off in the long term? Yeah. Right? And I can give you a million examples of this. We see it in health, we see it in money, we see it in this a lot in the speaking world, in all different industries, I believe. But I think societally, it's like, why are we like that? Why are we like that in the U.S.?
Yeah, and I don't know. You say the short-term thinking at the beginning too, but the only thing we don't think short-term on is our money. We're still stuck in this accumulation phase, which takes so much time. Mm-hmm. And yes, there's some part of your portfolio that needs to accumulate. But I got so good at accelerating money that I was like, why am I still accumulating?
Ooh, accelerating opposed to accumulating.
Yeah, so that's kind of like that's in my pitch. I'll teach you how to accelerate, not accumulate. Right? And it's very possible. Obviously, you can't do that unless you're a day trader in the stock market. If you're putting money into a portfolio for a financial advisor to manage for you or a 401k or an IRA, you're not going to be able to do that, right? But in other areas, such as alternative investments, which you're very familiar with in the real estate game, whether it comes to business acquisitions, data centers, solar, oil and gas, like there's so many different things that you can get into that will accelerate your money. And people think it's risky, and it's not if you know the right people. The relationships. If it's some John Doe on the corner saying, hey, I can get you into this, just give me $100,000. No. Yeah. You got to do your own due diligence. Don't be that naive. But if you have the right relationships, I promise you, it is very easy to accelerate your money. And you're doing it with other people. That's it. It's not an individual thing. You can't do it. You have to do it with others.
Talk to me a little bit about some of those people in your network today. Like, is it someone that you just met? Is it someone that you sought out to engage with? Like, how did you build that network to accelerate your money and your clients?
So I wanted to build a network and a group of individuals that had their own different, I guess, unique skill sets within the industry. And obviously I would just go to a bunch of real estate events to meet these real estate agents or developers, lenders, all of them, and just kind of figuring out like what they're doing. Listen, this took me a year to go through all of this. Like I didn't just jump in and say, all right, I'll take you. I like what you're doing. Like I did it myself. I said, all right, I'll put some money with you first. Let's see how it goes. And we built that relationship and it was great. So I was like, all right, we'll keep on. Here's a little bit more. And we did that again. And then I wanted to know on the data center side. I just started looking into it. I went to an event at Coach Bert's at the Greatness Factory. And I ran into an individual there that was heavily involved into it. Told him, I kind of have my intentional wealth masterminds, a group of investors. We're just looking for something outside of real estate right now. What do you have? Coach Bert got me connected with the guy. We hit it off. And then I, again, started doing it myself. Wanted to see how it went. Great. Now let's hand it off to some other people, right? And then you dial in. I got connected with, you've probably seen him, Carlton Dennis, I joined one of his virtual things, and then I got to speak to him one-on-one on there about a couple other things, and he opened my eyes to some other alternative investments. I'm like, okay, here's another avenue, right? But it always started with an event. It always started with a group of people just trying to build relationships, and I found that commonality, that person wanted the same thing I did. And if I could help them and they could help me get it, like, we were going to be the perfect team. So,
Both people win.
Yeah, both people win. And for me, I am not greedy. I'm not greedy. I have done so many deals where I've made $0, right? Because sometimes it just makes sense. In the long term, I'll make money later. I don't need to make it now. I just needed other people to make money so they can get to a certain level where we all can start now making money together.
Totally. Like,
it's events and then relationships, man.
How do you, obviously you put your money into their program and validate them, but is there anything or any patterns you've seen that causes you to either back up and say no way, or for you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna invest, I'm gonna take that risk?
Yeah. So one thing I need to know, how much of their money is at risk along mine? And it's got to be 50-50. It has to be. And I do the same thing with my investors. If I'm asking for $100K when I'm doing a capital raise, 50,000 of that is coming from me, right? So now we're coming in, we're bringing in 100K. So that's first thing I'm always asking with the person that's bringing the opportunity to the table. How much are you at risk? Not just the company name. I want your money involved, right? And the other thing.
That's such a good, dude. That is such a seriously, if you're listening to this, you need to rewind and listen to that part again, because I've fucked that up.
Yeah.
And I've done it really damn good. And it's always been, they're usually putting in more of their personal money than me.
Yeah.
Right? So that 50-50 threshold, I think is such a great number.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you're putting in 150, I'm putting in 150. And it's not like you're the principal partner who's just getting the sweat equity percentage.
Right.
Like, you actually took that out of your bank, put it in the deal, and you can't pull it out, and I can't pull it out, or I'm going to be aware if you sell it off to someone else in the deal.
Correct.
Because the agreement discloses that if any initial investor changes position, all the investors have to be made aware. And I learned that one the hard way.
I have too.
Because I've seen people move money and get out, and I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean you're not involved? Yeah. I got in because of you.
Yeah.
And it's like, so like all those contracts now, it's like if there's any change in the primary investor set, notification has to go to every other investor. Not that we have to agree, right? Because if you say, hey, I'm out and I want to buy your 150K because I know this deal is gonna be pretty good, that's fine. Like, as long as the money's not leaving and getting replenished, so we could still operate at the pace of the investment. But like, that is all right. One more. Give me another one, because you got me jazzed up.
You kind of hit it on it. It's the contract. It's the agreement. Like, understanding that agreement, right? Because I've been screwed on the back end of things. Like, taking the word over a written agreement, you will lose a shit ton of money doing it that way. And I did at the beginning because I thought I could trust that person. We shook hands. Everything was good. And at the end, he took the majority of it and gave me a penny. And because there was no agreement, I can't argue that, right? It's his word against mine. So contracts, agreements, make sure they're solid. And I make sure they are.
I was going to say, I've also been in situations, and I don't know if you've been in this situation, where I've taken an agreement and they were like, oh, we'll meet with my lawyer. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to your lawyer.
Yeah, right.
Like, my lawyer needs to see it, right?
Correct.
And it reminds me of, like, in real estate, dual agency, where you represent the buyer and the seller. I'm always like, who does that? Like, who lets who are you going to lead to?
Right. Right.
Like, you're going to lead to what makes you more money, or what's the better deal for you? Like, it's the same thing in any investment. It's like, I've got to bring in my lawyer, you've got to bring in your lawyer. And at first I was doing it because I wanted to save pennies.
Yeah.
I don't want to, pay you an hour and a half at $1,000 an hour or whatever it comes out to be.
Yeah.
And I think it's even more important now to not take those things and just throw them in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
because you actually need someone who has the experience of this specific market, the share, the scenario, and the industry.
Yes. I would say the last thing, though, since you brought up agreements and contracts, is experience. What's the track record look like? If you just got into it, like maybe we need to wait. Maybe I'll do some smaller deals with you, anything less than 50K just to see. But you're asking me for 250 or even $1 million, like you better be doing this for at least 5 years plus, right? And not just in the Tennessee, Kentucky, or the Tennessee, Nashville booming era of 2021 in Nashville of real estate. Like I need to see before that. What were you doing before that? And from there, then we'll go on, right? So I think experience in the game, like how long you've been doing it for, what's your track record, success, and then always knowing what their horror story. Tell me the deal that went wrong. How did we overcome it? What did you do? Like, those are always, I love those stories, like, because we all had them. But
well, the person who doesn't, it's coming, or they're lying,
and I don't want to be that one,
or they're lying.
Yeah,
right.
Lying or it's coming, and I don't want to be a part
because
of it.
Because perfection's not real. Right. So, like, if you've been doing this for 10 years, you've never lost on a deal. Are you telling the truth?
Right.
And then, okay, maybe I validated it, but like, when's it coming?
Yeah.
Right. Because that lesson of they failed, they still have a good reputation, and they got back up, I think is extremely powerful.
Right.
That's who I want to play with.
Right, and the failures can be different. Like if it was because of your negligence, then that's a problem, right? But if it's something that was out of your control, it just, economic, environment.
Yeah, markets crash.
Right, it happens, and that's different. How did we overcome it? What's next? How are we going to get out of it? Like, I like to know all that.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I think where we sit today in 2025, there's a lot of things that happened in the last 10 years where it's like, okay, you're still kicking, you're still surviving, and you've learned from that to then I call it future-proofing it from happening again.
Right.
You're at a ton of events. You're always shaking hands. You've always got great energy, great attitude.
Appreciate that.
You're always, Jim, hey, what's up, man? Great to see you. And then I turn around and you're shaking someone else's hand. Like, how do you bring that energy every time? Because it's one, it's magnetic, and two, like you brighten a room, dude. Like you do. How do you bring it? How do you get yourself mentally prepared?
I'm not going to take credit for that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you all the credit. It's just something about me entering a room full of a group of people. I think a long time ago, my mom told me, like, she's like, you're a natural leader. Like, you just have something in it. And it's always been when it comes to sports or just groups, I've always been that one that just took lead in a sense. And I don't know, I've had this kind of experience with individuals that they feel like they can just open up to me about anything. And I don't know, I kind of create that environment, and I don't do it on purpose. It's just my personality. But it doesn't ignite until I'm in there. Like if I'm at home on the couch, like don't talk to me. I'm watching my show. But as soon as I leave and I'm in the group of people, I'm like, I don't know, this life comes out of me, and it's like, Justyn, go make a difference. As many people as you can shake hands with, I don't need to really know them right then. There's certain people that I'm very intentional. Before I go to my events, I'm like, I'm going to meet that person, that person, that person. But then overall, every 50 or 100 other people, if I can shake their hand, like there's an energy source that's being exchanged from me to that person. And, sometimes you feel that, I'm not going to talk to that one. But most of the time, it's just a good vibe, a good feeling. I'm getting energy from the people that I surround myself with. And that's why I'm able to show up every time like that.
It's interesting because I feel you on so many levels, and I will find myself, like, I call it the event scaries, like Sunday scaries, right? If you're not living in your purpose, you're not aligned, you're like, oh shit, I gotta go to work tomorrow, it's Sunday, right? Thankfully, I don't live that life anymore.
I do not either.
But I have, so I get it, like I totally get it. But I call it the event scaries because, like you said, on the couch or at the house, and I got to remind myself, it's not how I feel in the moment here today. Like, I want to hang out with my daughter tonight. I want to, eat dinner and cook with my wife and have all that. But I've got to put myself in the position of, every time I leave an event, I am lit up. I am electric. I'm fired up. I call my wife. I'm blah, 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 blah. This happened, and this gal, and this guy, and this person came up to me and was like, I've been watching your someone the other day at the event was like, I've been following you for 2 years. And
I love that.
I know this, and how are you doing with that? And it was like, that's electrifying, right? And, if I can think about that happening, it's like, get the pants on, get the shoes on. Like, I don't even want to be 2 minutes late. Let's go. I'm speeding, baby.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a powerful thing to, if anybody listening is in those moments, because I've also had this conversation with so many friends, and I'm like, all right, I'm not alone. Like, we all are tired on a Thursday, and we got our ass kicked, all day today at work, and or you had an obligation where you're like, well, I really want to, be with the fam tonight, but think about what can happen in that room. Think about what the emotion and the energy and the feeling is going to be as you leave. It's kind of like going to the gym. It's like going in the cold plunge, right? You're like, oh shit, I got to do this cold plunge again.
You got to talk to yourself,
and then,
you got to breathe.
15 seconds after, you're like, let's go run through walls, and just a quick funny story. I did a cold plunge 3 weeks ago in the evening, and I've never done it before. Bro, I was up till 2:30. This second wind of energy, I'm like, whoa, man, this is intense. I'm going on a tangent here, but
no, I get it. I
the
love
cold plunge is a vibe for sure.
Is.
Talk to me about going to events. Talk to me around the fact of getting in a room where you might not know anybody, where you may feel like you don't belong. How do you navigate and push through those scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to several. Like when I first moved to Nashville, I just knew I needed to network as much as I could to get my name out there, meet people, things like that. And there were some rooms I entered that I was like, it's not my cup of tea, or these are not the group of people that I want to be around, or they have a different mindset, multiple different things. But one thing I've always been good at is I've never found a stranger. Like I've always been able to relate to someone at the event. I'll find that person and just gravitate to them, or they gravitate to me. However, at the beginning, if I don't feel the vibe and that's that energy, I'll probably just leave. Right? I'll walk out and we'll try again on a different event. But getting to these events, I got very intentional as I started going to more. Like at the beginning, again, like you seen those kids that just start a business or they start working for this company. They got their stack of business cards and they're just handing them out to everybody. They don't even remember the person's name. They're just handing them out, like, know me. And I was that person at the beginning. Right?
We all were, by the way. Yeah, I think we all were.
I was. As I started going to more events intentionally, I say more events intentionally, I mean the ones that I knew, the people that I wanted to be around.
Yep.
I started getting more intentional on finding those different kind of events and groups, and it became more natural to me to be ready to go into that room because I already knew, all right, there's going to be at least a handful of people that I could relate to.
Yeah.
I know what kind of event this is. So I kind of negated that ever coming up again. Now, I don't have to network as much anymore. I'm even more intentional now. Like, you host an event, I'm there. Like, if I can make it, I will be there. There's some other people that will host an event, I will make myself be there, like, because I just know what it's going to bring and what it's going to do for me. Even if I don't close or meet someone there, it's not even really about that. It's just me getting to have a conversation with someone that may be at the same level I'm at or be in their high level that I want to be at. And I want to ask that question, how did you get there? Like, I need that feedback from them, pick their mind a little bit. So I think now, being more intentional about that. Anyone listening that's getting into it, like, if you can start off being more intentional at the beginning, you'll get there a lot faster. Like, don't be the person handing out business cards everywhere.
Accelerate, don't accumulate.
Exactly. That business card gets put into a drawer.
You said something really important that I want to just go back to. You said if it's not the right vibe or it's not the right folks or you don't feel that connection, you'll just get up and leave.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for everybody to download what he just said. And the reason why is because I've seen so many people not put up the boundary and then they get upset or they have a negative connotation around events. Like your energy, your time, your beliefs, what you feel is the truth.
Yeah.
May not be the truth to that guy or that girl, but it's your truth. And I told this to someone recently. They were struggling with like, I get on a call with someone, I don't want them as my client. I just can decipher that pretty quick now because I ask specific questions and I've built my business up so I know. But I keep getting stuck on these calls and I'm like, end the call.
Right.
Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
Don't say, you know what, I don't want to work with you. Thanks, take care, beep. But just say, hey, thanks so much. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate the time. I'm going to head out now. Thank you so much. If you ever need anything, wonderful, but I don't think it's going to be a fit to work together.
Right.
And just be nice and cordial about it.
Yeah.
Getting in those conversations and wasting the next 20, 30, 40, an hour of your time, what does that do to your emotions? You get upset. You may start putting people in the wrong categories, thinking this is going to consistently happen. It's not rude to protect your energy and your time.
Protect your energy.
Because what's going to happen after that meeting is you're going to carry shitty energy with you to the next person who you do want to be your client. You're going to maybe not be polite and say thank you to the barista when you go grab a coffee because it's midday and that just ripped your energy and you're like, damn, I need some caffeine, baby.
Yeah.
And what we don't realize is it's not even just you that's going to affect. It's the people that you're going to interact with consecutively or consistently afterwards that it's going to affect.
Yeah.
And I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to learn, right? But when you can do it from a level of self-love, you aren't arrogant. You aren't a jerk. You don't say things that you don't mean. You're just honest and you're nice about it.
Yeah.
So I think with the events, it's the same thing. The other thing that I'll share with events that are like that, get content. Hey, maybe you're not here for the people. They're not your right cup of tea. They're not your crowd. Maybe their belief system or values don't align, right? That you're not going to make that deep human connection because you haven't shared experiences. You don't have shared values. You don't have shared beliefs.
Right.
Get that content with a room of people and tell the world what you want to tell them, right? Because there is value in an event that doesn't align with you. So take advantage of what you can gain as value.
Yeah.
Man, what a great conversation today, dude. I'm fired up, man, with so much knowledge. All right, last question for you.
Okay.
Someone struggling with money beliefs, someone struggling with money strategy, someone struggling with not just enough knowledge about money. Maybe they grew up a certain way. Maybe they have never had a conversation with money. Maybe they don't have parents. Maybe they do have parents who have terrible habits. Or what's the first piece of advice? Obviously, we talked about your method, BPV, right? BPV, I got that right? I'm like, value or purpose? Value or purpose? Purpose, obviously. Other than that, what advice do you have for that person? Because you said you came from a broken home, right? You know, my parents were addicted to OxyContin. My dad took his life. Like, these conversations never happened for me. But I'm more curious about the advice you'd give to that person.
Yeah, so if they feel like something is off, in a sense, like you have to face it. You have to confront it. And when it comes to limited beliefs, like, okay, I had that limited belief, but it's not true, right? Because if it was true, there would not be successful people. Like, you have to, like, there's got to be some piece of reality, more logic than emotion, in that kind of, I guess, would say mind shift, where you're now convincing yourself that you are meant to have this, right? And then with that belief, though, it still needs to start with that belief. It needs to tie in some way, somehow on that belief. But don't go to Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, whatever social media platform, and see these highlight reels and be like, oh, that I can get that in 20 days if I just do this program. It's not how it works. It's not it. Like, this is year 5 for me. I'm still learning things. But it took me 2 years to really set the platform, the foundation. And that's okay. You got 2 years of what you think you're going to live 80 to 90 years. That's a fraction. Take the 2 years. Learn it. Because when you learn something, your confidence is there. Now you're more competent about what you're doing and what you're talking about. And that alone will give you self-value. Because now I'm figuring this out. I know what I'm talking about. And implement it into your life as soon as possible. Do it so you can see the change happen. Until you see that change, it's like jumping on that scale after working out and you have this plan of losing so much weight. You jump on the scale every week, you're not going to see nothing, right? Wait a month, then see the difference. Right now you're working with water weight. But it's the same thing on that. You got to take baby steps, measure it along the way you go, but you just have to face the fear, face that limited belief, and then start learning about it. Once you learn about it, implement it, I promise you your life will change.
Whoo! What an episode, brother. Justyn, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I love this conversation.
Your friendship, your
We
knowledge.
could talk another 2 hours.
I was going to say, yeah. Well, let's do it again. Let's run it back. Let's run it back.
I would love to.
Cool, man.
Yep.
Well, thanks for being here, everybody. You can catch the Impact Effect podcast on all your platforms, whether you're seeing this on YouTube, whether you're in the car, you want to drop in on Spotify, Apple. Check us out, the Impact Effect podcast. We're bringing the real, raw stories of life and business to understand and show you how these individuals are creating positive impact.